Good evening. Good evening. How you guys doing? I hope you're having an amazing Monday evening. I sure had a pretty good Monday. Busy, but great. And I know a lot of you are probably coming from classes today or work. And tonight, I actually did not have a plan of doing a live stream tonight, but I saw a question inside of this group that I was like, ooh, this is actually one that a lot of people have really been struggling with. And so I figured, I'll come on live and I'll talk about it. Alexa, how are you doing? Kelsey, great to see you. Isaac, great to see you, brother. I hope everything at the clinic was good, man. Jens, great to see you. As you guys are hopping on, feel free to say hello in the comments. But it's great to have every single one of you here. And tonight we have a good topic. We have one that a lot of us struggle with, whether we want to admit it or not, whether we're pre-PTs. And I know for this group, I'm talking to pre-PTs tonight. But I know in here we also have some students that have gotten into PT school, maybe some PTs that want to give advice and help out. But in some way, shape, or form, we all go through this burnout. Now, if I'm alone in saying that, Michael, great to see you. Let me know real quick, just if either currently or in the past you have felt burnt out. And we'll define what that means tonight. Like, if you have, just like comment below and just say me. Like, if you felt burnt out. And by burnout, I mean like you've literally felt like, man, the drive you had before, the energy you had before, maybe the determination you had before is starting to just be like drained by several things. It could be classes, it could be work, it could be certain things that are happening in your family. If that is you, if you have felt it in some way, shape, or form, you're in the right place. You're in the right place. But let me know below. I just want to make sure that I'm talking to the right crew tonight. But if that's you, just let me know in the comments. But that will help us with our conversation tonight. And I really want it to be a conversation. So Jen's perfect. I have definitely been there, and I'll probably share a little bit of that tonight. Allison, great to see you. But if we're being honest, it's like we've all felt it. Now, well, let's just dive in. This was a question by Isabel. I hope I'm not pronouncing your last name incorrectly, Isabel. Raingold. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. But Isabel actually posted inside of the pre-doc page a question about burnout. And I loved it, not because of the burnout, but because it was asked. And it's something that we all, I don't know if it's the fact that we just kind of keep quiet about it, or maybe we just talk to our colleagues about it or our classmates about it. I don't know what it is, but it sucks. It sucks. What's up, Kyle Rice? What's up, Lacora? How you doing? Savannah, great to see you. Esther, great to see you. And so like it sucks. It sucks. But let's dive into it. Tonight, what I want to talk about is why burning out as a pre-PT. What's up, David? How you doing? Why burning out as a pre-PT might be the best thing that happens to you. Sounds kind of odd, doesn't it? Why burning out as a pre-PT might be the best thing that happens to you. And tonight, as we're talking, like, let's have a conversation, because I want to make sure that these are the things that you guys are going through, so that this is helpful for you. So in the comments, if you guys are like, ooh, like that's me, or like, let me know so that I know, like we're on the right page. So why burning out as a pre-PT might be the best thing that happens to you. So the question that was posed was, hey guys, I'm paraphrasing here, like I'm pretty much burnt out. It's a student that's actually a rockstar pre-PT. I don't know if Isabel recognizes that. Rockstar pre-PT, but has felt that the passion they had when they were in high school, going into just like in high school, it sounds like they wanted to be a physical therapist for a very long time. And then the passion that they had while, well, Sean, how you doing? Robbie, great to see you. And the passion they had while they were in high school is kind of fading. I don't know if y'all have felt that. If you guys have felt that, comment felt that. Like the passion they had is fading. And it's not because they just suddenly don't like PT. It sounds like, from what the question was inside the group, it sounds like it's more so just kind of feeling drained, and more so just kind of like in the muck of like busyness right now and so many different things that are just taking away that initial joy that they had when they were considering PT, when they were in high school. And so that's where, and if we don't talk about it tonight, y'all, like if y'all are listening right now, you might want to like cancel your plans a little bit, because if we don't talk about this could steal y'all's dream of becoming PTs. Like this very thing right here, if we don't address it, it will take away your chance of getting into PT school, because you'll take that chance away from yourself. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So why, like that joy that we had before, like why is it that, like whether it's for you as a freshman, whether it's as a high school, student, like there was a point where there was like an innocence, an excitement, a love for PT, and it's like, man, that's what I want to be. And then now you're like, it feels like you're on the other side. It's like, yo, like I don't even know if this is for me anymore. Am I doing too much? Am I even going to be able to handle it? And that's what crushes people. What crushes most of us, especially as pre-PTs, is, man, like what if this is a representation of like what I won't be able to handle when I'm in PT school? I don't know if that's you. It might be you. It might not be you. But it becomes a fear of like, what if I can't do it? What if I can't like handle this? And what if this is a sign of like how badly I'm going to be crushed, when I start my first year or second year or third year of PT school? Maybe this is a sign. Well, I'm here to tell you that it's not. Tonight, I'm here to tell you that it's not a sign. And what I'm going to show you tonight is 6 things that y'all can start doing. These are like simple things that y'all can do, but most of y'all don't actually really do. just 6 things. Y'all can take notes and start doing them after this. But 6 things that y'all can start doing if you want to just like really crush your overwhelm or crush burnout. Like, because if we don't take care of it, y'all, there's very little shot of either getting into PT school or getting much further than that. And it's not to say that you won't get into PT school, but if you stop yourself because of it, then you won't, right? Because you stopped. So I want to help y'all out. So let's kind of have a conversation. Could it be imposter syndrome instead of a burnout? It could be both. It could be both imposter syndrome, and I'll dive into it a little bit. But it could be both. So the question for those of y'all that are, watching this on replays, like, could it be imposter syndrome instead of burnout? Like, it could be, but there's a few things that actually lead to burnout. Like, burnout and imposter syndrome are their own 2 things. Imposter syndrome is like this belief that maybe I don't belong, right? So because of it, it's almost like for me, I was like one of the youngest people in my class, right? So I had a lot of imposter syndrome because a lot of my PT school classmates like were married, they had kids. So in my head, it's like, maybe I don't belong here. When I was in my second year of PT school and I was at the bottom of my grades, like in my class, like that created imposter syndrome. Like maybe I don't belong here, almost like I'm going to be found out. That's imposter syndrome. Burnout is a sign of overwhelm. Burnout is like when you're doing something that feels more like work than passion. Burnout is like when you feel pulled in a lot of different directions to the point where you're just like it drains everything out of you. Burnout is ultimately what it does is it takes away the fire that y'all had initially. And for all of you, it's different. Some of you are non-traditional students. Some of you figured it out in like 5th grade. It wasn't me, but some of y'all figured it out in 5th grade that you wanted to be a PT. Some of y'all it's high school. Whatever that moment was, the fire you had is taken away. Before I share my 6 steps, does that make sense so far? If that makes sense, just comment, makes sense. Because I want to make sure, y'all, I'm teaching tonight. So I want to make sure that everything I say, y'all like, ooh, okay. We're with you, Joseph. Because if I just keep rambling, then it's just me talking to myself, which is pointless, right? But if that makes sense, if what I just said right now makes sense, like say makes sense, and then we'll dive in. Esther, it makes sense? Perfect. So what I want to help y'all do tonight is I want to help y'all understand how to dominate your overwhelm, how to dominate the things that have taken, like, oh my gosh, I'm about to go off tonight. It's gonna be good. I'm excited. I hope y'all are excited. So what a lot of us like fail to understand is the fact that like we connect the feeling of overwhelm and burnout with, oh my goodness, well, all of a sudden that must mean that I'm going down the wrong path, right? So for the student that posts this, it's like, let them to think, maybe I should be a PTA, maybe I should like change my options, like should I be looking somewhere else? Like those are real fears. And it's normal to think that way. But if we don't handle like the root of the problem, right? Like I tell this to all my patients, like if we're not taking care of the root of the problem, then what are we really doing, right? If someone like broke their femur or whatever, and all I'm doing is giving them an ice pack, does that actually fix the problem? No, it might just take away some of the pain, or they might be a little numb or whatever. It's not actually taking care of the problem. Tonight, let's talk about taking care of the real problem. Because if you guys ever decide not to pursue PT, I don't want it to be because you felt overwhelmed. If you're gonna pull the plug on the dream that you have for yourself as a future physical therapist, I don't want it to be because you felt overwhelmed. I don't want it to be because you felt like, oh my goodness, like chemistry, physics, I have so many things to, like, y'all, that's not telling you that you're not supposed to be in PT. That's telling you that there's some stuff that we gotta change if you want to have a clean slate. If you ever decide not to be a PT, it should be because you genuinely don't want to be a PT anymore. That should be it. It shouldn't be anything else. It shouldn't be GPA. It shouldn't be like GRE. It shouldn't be what your advisors say. It shouldn't be what your parents say. It should simply be like, yo, I actually don't want to do this anymore, Joseph, so I'm going to pick a different career path. And that's cool. But I don't want this to be what takes it away, because if this does it, you might be making a mistake. Y'all good with that? All right, so let me go into the 6 things, and then I'm going to hang out with my wife before I go to sleep. All right, so the 6, let's talk about why this may be the best thing. So the title was not misleading. It's like, why burning out as a pre-PT may be the best thing that happens to you. Well, the reason for that is because it allows you to actually step back and take care of some key things, right? So like, for example, if I'm in my house, right? So my house is like super clean. Like we make sure the dishes, I don't know about y'all, like we make sure that before we go to sleep, all the dishes are clean, like everything is organized, like it's almost like if someone showed up at 3 o'clock in the morning, we'd be ready for them. Like a lot of times, like we don't treat our lives the same way. So a lot of times, let me use the house example, right? It's kind of like if I had like roaches in the house. If I had roaches out of nowhere, well, roaches are telling me that there's something that I did not do correctly leading up to me getting roaches or me getting mice in the house or whatever. So like when you're burnt out, it usually means that you're having like roaches, right? Like in your life, right? Pretty much it's like something is telling you that you have been doing things a little incorrectly. And if you don't fix it, things are going to get worse. That's all it is. What I'm going to help y'all do is clean house tonight. I want y'all to clean house so that y'all can actually have the ability to make proper decisions as a pre-PT so that y'all can actually crush it. If y'all want to be a PT, listen, burnout should not be what takes it away from you. And the honest truth is, burnout isn't going anywhere. Like it's going to be there when you're in PT school. It's going to be there when you're a PT. It's going to be there in every profession. So let's just like figure out the key things now. Let's clean house now. That's why it's a good thing. If you've gone through it, it's a good thing because tonight we can actually figure out, okay, Joseph, what are the steps that I should be taking to make sure that I'm good? And then what I want y'all to do is, as I say each point, it's 6 points, and then I'm done. As I say each point, just comment it in the comments. Do like a number 1, and then just comment it so that I know that y'all got it. All right? Number 1, inventory. It allows you to understand, like, we have to first of all start with why we're overwhelmed. Like we have to take inventory, right? Like if I have roaches in my house, I have to ask, why do I got roaches? Like is it because I have like food everywhere? Is it because something's wrong with our walls? Is it because it's an old house? Like why? Like we have to take inventory. So number 1 is inventory. Why are you overwhelmed? Like why do we have the burnout? Where is it coming from? Like the only way we figure this out is if we ask ourselves questions. I can't say it for you. Esther, I can't say it for you. Lisa, I can't tell you why you're overwhelmed. Only you can. And the best thing to do is even like grab like a piece of paper and start writing down like, what are the things that I feel are overwhelming me? Is it my job? Like y'all might have jobs that might be like working you to the bone, right? So is it my job? Is it my classes? Like chemistry is like a pain in the butt. Like for me, it was chemistry and physics. It was just hard. I had like 2 tutors for each. So okay, so is it chemistry? All right, cool. Like, is it family? I don't know. Like, maybe the environment I'm in is toxic. Like, is that part of it? Is it certain pressures that I've built on myself? Is it anxiety? Like, what is it? Like, the first step we have to take if we want to crush this thing is we have to understand why we're overwhelmed. Is it actual tasks, like I just said? Is it mental energy? Did y'all know that y'all can actually like waste mental energy? If y'all are busy like stressing and always worried and anxious, you're actually wasting mental energy. That's why I teach a lot about like how to handle those things as well. But like tonight it's about like burnout, right? So like mental energy. Have y'all ever had like a day where you haven't been like physically active, but because you've been so stressed all day, you get to the end of the day and you're just like, I just want to take a nap. I'm just exhausted. That's mental energy. Like, you wasted mental energy. So is that part of it? Is that part of what by the end of each day you're like, oh my gosh, like, can I really do this anymore? Can I handle this? So you do that throughout the week. By the weekend, you're feeling that. Into the next week, and the next week, and the next week. Throughout your semester, y'all are feeling this. Throughout the year, y'all are feeling this. It gets to the point where it's actually way too overwhelming, and then that's when we usually make decisions that we later regret. So we have to start with asking ourselves, like, why? Why am I overwhelmed? What is it? Can I write it down? Because if you don't write it down, you'll lie to yourself. Like, you will. I'm just telling the truth. Y'all, listen, is it okay if I just tell the truth tonight? Right? Like, you'll be lying to yourself if you don't write it down. Look at it. You don't have to share it with anybody else. Just like, look at it and just say, okay, cool. And then now that's when we can start having conversations about how to handle each one. Does that make sense? So that's number 1. Number 2, having burnout leads us to get to a point where we can actually say no. So y'all can comment that as number 2. Having burnout leads us to a point where we can actually say no. So we said point 1. Y'all, I'm just teaching tonight. This is like a lecture. So y'all better be taking notes or something. Like, I said that point 1 was we had to understand why we're overwhelmed in the first place. Why we're having it. Fonzie, what's up, fam? What's up, Casey? But number 2 is we have to say no to non-priorities. So things that are not your priorities. So after you write that first list, which was your list of, okay, these are the things that are overwhelming me, then on the second half of the page, I want you to write, what are my priorities? What are my big priorities right now? Your priorities might be your family. Your priorities might be your classes. Your priorities might be this application cycle. Your priorities might be your job. Your priorities might be your kid if you have kids or kid, whatever. Like, you might have plural or none. I don't know. So what are your priorities? And then I always categorize my priorities into 3 things. Like, always. I always categorize my priorities into 3 things. My most important ones, which are the ones that's like, yo, like these have to get done. Like, these are the things that are non-negotiables. My top one is God and my wife. Y'all, listen, if y'all ever do anything that takes me away from her, it's not happening. It's just a major priority of mine. For you, it might not be family. For me, it is. Right? Another one of mine is our accepted system students. So if I'm getting messages, I'm always going to respond to my students first. It's just, they're the priority. Like, it might be my patients. Like, for you, it'll be very different. But you have to know what it is. Because if you're going to say no to stuff, you have to have a system. Like, y'all, listen, if we don't have a system, then all we're doing is guessing. Does that make sense? If we don't have a system, all we're doing is guessing. So you have to say no to non-priorities. Because when you're saying yes to everything, you're wasting your energy. And you are going to be burnt out. And you might be listening to this and you're like, yo, Joseph, like, man, like, everything I'm doing right now is important. Man, are you sure? You positive? Like, how many times are you hanging out on the weekend? How many tasks are you doing at home that are actually efficient? Are you efficient? Are you, when you go to study for your GRE, are you spending 4 hours studying for it or 2? You might be wasting time while you're studying. Have you actually been intentional about being efficient with your time? Like, there's a reason why, like, I've worked on my efficiency so that I can be a physical therapist, like an online pre-PT coach, because this is what I do, and a husband, and like I can do those things because I've figured out how to collapse my time and figured out how to be a lot more efficient in that time. Like yesterday, it was a Sunday, right? So if you get like I think, what was it? Like I ran 3.5 miles, then literally did like a full day's worth of work for pre-PT grind, and I was done by like 10 a.m. already, because when I woke up, I collapsed my time. The whole afternoon, y'all know what I did? I had a pool party. What was like a pool day with two of our like good friends. Their names are Dwayne Haskins and Gabby Haskins. They came over to hang out with my wife and I, so we went to our pool, and we just like hung out for the whole afternoon. I like ghosted. Because I could. Because I spent the morning being efficient with my time. Are you efficient? And part of being efficient means saying no to things that are non-priorities. Sometimes that means saying no to certain things to your family. You might be like, ooh, actually, like right now, my priorities are making sure that I'm ready for this deadline. Okay, so maybe I can't really hang out with my fam this weekend, but tell you what, mom, tell you what, dad, tell you what, cuz, like in 2 weeks, on this day, I got you. I got you. But right now, I have to take care of this. Some of y'all, actually, most of y'all suck at saying no. So if you can't say no, then you will burn out. Number 3, comment it below. No, number 3, understand the need for self-care. I think we talk about this a lot, but I don't think a lot of us really take the proper actions for it. And then when we do things that we call self-care, but they really aren't, right? So it's like, yeah, self-care for me is going out and partying with my friends and getting drunk and all that. Y'all, listen, that's not self-care. That's just you venting out. Like, I mean, it's cool. Like, do your thing. But self-care are things that you do to take care of yourself so that you can perform better and so that you have more energy to do the things you have to do. Those priorities that I talked about, number 2. Does that make sense? Understand the need for self-care. In other words, understand what fuels you, LaCora. What fuels you, Lisa. Carlos, Paul, Fonzie, like, understand what fuels you. Like if you don't understand that, then, I mean, like, you can try to do what other people do. Like, what fuels me is like working out. What fuels me is like I have certain habits that I've laid out for myself, so I know how to get myself going. I eat the same breakfast. I eat like my toast and peanut butter and a banana. Like I eat the same thing. I wake up the same time. Like I have a routine. Like, and I know what pretty much sets me up, like to do these things. Like you have to figure out what fuels you. Family and the need for security. So that fuels you in terms of like your motivation. I'm talking about like what fuels you in terms of like replenishes your energy. Like how much time do you spend on that? So one thing I started doing was because like I'm busy all the time, like always. So one thing I started doing was like during my day, like if I'm working a full day at my clinic, what I started doing is like I would always like during my lunchtime, I would always like stay in the clinic, eat food, and then like treat all my patients, right? And some days I work like 10 hours in a row. Like I'll work from like 8 a.m. and I won't leave till like 7 p.m. And so by the time 7 p.m. comes, I feel drained. And like, y'all, listen, I love what I do, like, right? But like I would feel drained. And so what I started doing was during my lunchtime, I have lunch from 12 to 1 on the days that I'm in the clinic. And what I started doing is like from 12 to 12:15, I would eat my lunch. From 12:15 to 1 o'clock, I would actually take a walk. And my staff knows that. They know, yo, like when Joseph is like during his lunchtime, he's not really trying to socialize. Keep on, I'm socializing all day, right? He's not trying to, he needs his time, because if he doesn't have that, then he can't give at his highest level. Y'all, I can't give, y'all feel this energy right now? Like this is how I am in the clinic all the time. So it's like, I can't give at this level if I'm not replenished myself. So do you take time for yourself, or are you running on E? Do you have certain habits that you set in place where you're like, in the middle of the day, it might not be 45 minutes like me, it might be 15 minutes, it might be 10 minutes, but something that resets you, something that fuels you. You have to schedule rest. Rest looks like sleeping earlier at night. Rest also looks like certain things you're doing when you're not sleeping in the daytime. It doesn't mean always just bumping the music or whatever. Like literally, like having a time for your brain to shut down. Hanging with family is time for you, Lisa. Perfect. Cool. So, like, hang out with your family. Like, that's your reset time. Y'all, I feel so recharged after I spend time with my family. After, like, my wife and I are playing with our puppy, which is what we've pretty much been doing for, like, the last hour. Like literally, I feel so good. I feel good to go. So, what is it for you? Do you know it? If you don't, it might be time to start figuring it out. But that's you have to understand that. If you don't work on that, then the honest truth is you are setting yourself up for burnout because you're running on E the rest of the day. It's like revving an engine, a car engine, and not going anywhere. It's just wasted energy, y'all. So reset. Figure out what it is. Number four, for those of y'all that are commenting below. Revisit or understand the purpose of your journey. What I saw in the question, which is a lot, like, I'm literally just, I did this live stream because of a question that a student asked. And I know it's a question that a lot of us ask, and that's why I did a live stream on it. But the honest truth is, like, you have to understand the purpose of your journey. I think a lot of times we'll look at classes like chemistry or a really hard semester and say, oh my goodness, this must mean PT's not for me. Listen, y'all, I don't know if y'all know this, but, like, grad school is hard, period. And just the fact that you feel like this is hard doesn't mean anything else is going to be easier. Honestly, you'd rather work hard for something that is in line with what you're passionate about anyway. Because if you're working on, y'all want to know what a sure sign of burnout is? A sure sign of burnout is when I say, you know what? Bump what I'm actually passionate about because I feel burnout and I don't know how to handle it. And I'll actually go for something else that looks a little easier but I'm actually not passionate about. Y'all know what that does? That leads to burnout because all I'm doing is working towards something I'm actually not passionate about. So eventually, it's just going to feel like just the mundane, like, just a daily grind. And that over time leads to it. So you have to find your purpose. Like, what was it? Like, when I decided to become a physical therapist, like, what was it? What was it? What's up, Sarah? Like, what was it that I loved about it? What was it that I was so passionate about regarding physical therapy? Like, find that. Find that and use it as your fuel. Y'all, there was semesters when I was a pre-PT that sucked. That's just the truth. And they sucked, but I had to remind myself, yo, like, I'm trying to get into PT school. Like, this is not PT school. What y'all are doing right now is not PT school. So understand that you're going into a program where you're actually focusing on the things that you've been so passionate about. And if you're not passionate about PT yet, then maybe you got to figure out if this is for you or not. But for those of y'all that are passionate, which is the majority of you, it's saying, whoa, like, I'm actually aiming for the very thing that I'm actually going to enjoy going to. Yes, PT school is going to be hard. But now all of a sudden it's like, whoa, like, these are classes that are based off of what I actually like, what I've actually dreamed about. So are you revisiting that every single day? Are you reminding yourself of what you're actually fighting for? Do you have it in sight? Or are you starting to lose it because you're so focused on what's immediate? Understand the purpose of your journey. Remind yourself of that every single day. If you don't, it's very hard. Like for me, like, it's what Casey and I talked about on Thursday. We said it's not about you. It's about something much bigger than you. It's about your future patients. It's about taking care of your family. It's about the things that you actually desire, but it's not about you. So a lot of times when we're focusing on ourselves, we're focusing on how we feel right now. Oh, I feel stressed right now, or I feel overwhelmed right now, so this must mean that I'm going down the wrong path. Absolutely not. And if anyone ever leads you to believe that, you shouldn't listen to them about that one thing. I'm not saying ignore them or nothing, but like, you shouldn't listen to them about that one thing. So far, before I give y'all the last two, does that make sense so far? If that makes sense, comment makes sense below. I just want to make sure that this is all making sense tonight. Because, y'all, I'm just trying to help you guys out and make sure you guys have the tools you need to crush this thing called burnout. Like, once and for all. Once and for all. And tag your friends in this because a lot of them are also struggling with it. Number 5. Number 5 is you have to understand that you can only control what you can control. A lot of times we're spending, what's up, Tyler? What's up, Lauren? We're spending a lot of energy on things that we can't control, right? Like, whether it's an application, I'm not going to go into those details tonight. Today, we're just talking about burnout. like control what you can control. So in the things that you feel are still like, Joseph, I still have to go to work. Joseph, I still have to go to chem class. Joseph, okay, I'm not saying quit. What I am saying is, in those things, like, are you understanding what's within your control? Like, are you controlling the controls? I actually had a conversation with one of my good homies, Carl Bourne Jr., who's an alumnus of the accepted system. He's currently a student in Miami in PT school, crushing it. But we had a conversation early last year, and he was kind of going over, like, he was in a phase of his life where he was really overwhelmed. Like, this whole burnout conversation, I had the same one with him. And he was like, yeah, Joseph's like, I feel like I'm drowning. Like, sometimes that's how burnout feels. He said, I feel like I'm drowning. I have work. He was working on a lot of things at once. And I said, man, do you feel like you have any control? He's like, absolutely not. That's what's so frustrating. And I have nothing, like, to look forward to every single day. And so I said, like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, no, man, I can't control anything. I was like, you can always control something. And I shared my current story at that time. I was going through some stuff at that time. And I said, hey, man, this is what I've been doing. So let me ask you again, like what can you control? And I had him, like, start to break down for me at his job what he could control. Part of that is what I told you all before. Having those, like, mental breaks in the day, that was part of it. Like, maybe it's controlling, like, how you communicate. Maybe it's certain things you say no to. In class, what can you control? Maybe it's when I'm studying. Maybe it's who I'm studying with. Maybe it's like tackling anxiety. Like, what about y'all, like, you can control so much. Y'all have so much control. Like, but you have to understand that there are always controllables. Even when things seem overwhelming or just like it's like, yo, I can't even handle, there's always something you can control. So what is it? Figure that out and start addressing it. And if you're still stuck, like, hit us up. Like, go to contactpreptgrind.com, send us a message and say, yo, I'm still stuck with this. Can y'all help me out further? We got you. But number 6 is you have to realize the importance of the environment that you're in. Are you in an environment that fuels you, or are you in an environment that drains you? Are you in an environment that's pushing you towards your goals as a pre-PT? Or is it pulling you away from them? Is it leading you to doubt yourself more? Is it leading you to, like, feel more motivated and inspired? I can tell you this, if you guys want to know. Like, if you guys feel like the communities that you're part of, this could be your friends, this could be families. Yo, I'm not saying ditch them all. Like, I love family, right? That's, like, my priority. But there's certain things that you have to be very careful to protect. You have to protect your energy, y'all. You have to. You have to. I'm seeing it destroy so many of y'all. Like, protect it. So you have to figure out, like, is this the environment that's best for me? If it's not, then I'm glad you figured it out. I'm glad you figured out that you need to figure out who it's going to be. For me as a pre-PT, it was actually the couple that was here with us this weekend, DJ and Gabby. And I've known them since I was 15 years old. And this is what I'll end with tonight. So I've known since I was 15 years old, and from our freshman year, we always said, yo, we're gonna, like, push each other. Like, if any one of us is struggling, we got each other's back. And they were, like, we were each other's ride or dies all the way through undergrad. We got accepted into the same PT programs. We got called on the same day. It was borderline insane. Like, you'd think we were cheating, kind of like an exam, right? But the honest truth is, like, we realized that we were each other's, like, push at every single point. When I was struggling with chemistry and physics, like, that was my push. So it didn't overwhelm me more. They actually helped me. They figured out ways to actually help me. They were like, hey, Joseph, let's meet up on Tuesday night at this hall at this time. Let's help you out. When it was someone else struggling with anatomy and physiology, we did the same thing. But I was in an environment that was filling me. Why do y'all think we're still tight to this day? Why do y'all think they were staying at our house for the weekend and we were, like, swimming at the pool yesterday and all that stuff? Well, it's because of that. What is your environment? Are you in an environment that fuels you? Or are you in an environment that is draining you? That environment might be your workspace. Remember, I'm not saying quit your job, but I don't know if you want to. It's up to you. But like, that environment might be your classroom setting. So, okay, maybe I can't change that. So, what do I do? Well, maybe I have to figure out other ways to, when I'm not in the classroom or when I'm not at work, to be like recharged. So, who am I around then? Am I just going around more negative people? Am I around people that are just bringing me down lower? Or am I around people that are just stressing me out more? Am I around people that are just like bringing down my energy? Like, y'all have to be very careful of that. You are a human being and you only have a certain amount of energy to give to your studies, to your job, to your friends, to everything. So don't let people take it away. Sorry, don't let people steal it from you. Don't. So always realize the importance of the environment you're in. So maybe burning out may have been the best thing that happened to you. Because you finally had to have this real conversation with yourself. You had to, one, understand why you're overwhelmed. Number two, you had to start learning how to say no to your non-priorities like we talked about. Number three, you had to start like figuring out tactful things to take care of when it comes to self-care. Number four, your purpose, like saying, shoot, like I'm not focusing on the stuff that sucks right now. I'm focusing on my like what am I really aiming for? Like as a future physical therapist, if my focus is not on that, then I'm setting myself up for some negative things. Number five, controlling what you can control. And then number six, the environment you're in. If y'all can start like paying attention to those things, you will set yourself up for a lot of success. And am I promising that you'll never burn out again? No. But now you'll understand how to interpret it. You'll understand how to look at it. And you'll understand how to define it. But don't let it steal your joy. Don't let it steal your dream of becoming a physical therapist. And do not interpret it as the sheer, like, as a signal for what, don't let it tell you, it shouldn't indicate to you that you're not supposed to be going towards physical therapy. The only reason why you should choose not to be a PT is if you don't want to be a PT anymore. That's it. If that makes sense, comment makes sense. That's all I have tonight. I just want to take care of y'all. But if you guys are still stuck and you're like, oh my goodness, okay, I have more questions, hit us up. Go to contactpreptgrind.com. Send us a message. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. But if y'all can start doing this, you will set yourself up for a lot of success as a pre-PT. I hope y'all have an amazing rest of your night. Much love. I appreciate y'all. I don't even know if I introduced myself. I'm Joseph, one of the co-founders of Pre-PT Grind, helping y'all get into PT school without wasting time or money. But that's it. That's it. Kevin, man, I'm glad that was helpful. I hope y'all have a phenomenal rest of your Monday. Deuces.